Good afternoon. Let's look at page 201, questions 12 and 15. Now here we're starting to deal with an index that is odd. So when we deal with odd shapes, we're going to get graphs that kind of look like they're an S-shaped, because depending on what value we put in there, it could be positive or negative. So let's figure out what the middle would be. So if I look at that, my domain, I can actually pick all real numbers, because it doesn't matter what x value I put in there, my y value I will always be able to find the third root of it. If I look at my range, it is also all real numbers, because I'm going to get all sorts of things from negative infinity to positive infinity and everywhere in between. So let's look at the middle number. If we look at the middle number, well, our root of that part would be 0. So let's make ourselves a table. X and y, we have 0. Let's have our smaller numbers, -1. Let's do things like a -8. And the reason I picked that is because I can find the third root of 8. Let's see, what's the next third root that's kind of nice? -27. So then I can do 1, 8, and 27 this way. And the reason I picked those is because I can find the third root of those numbers, rather than having to use my calculator. So if I plug 0 into that, I'm going to get 0. If I plug a 1 in, the third root of 1 is 1, and 1 times a -5 would be a -5. Well, if I plug a -1 in, I'm going to get a -1 out, and -1 times a -5 would be a +5. You'll start to see a trend that these ones will always be negative values, and these will be positive values. If I plug an 8 in here, the third root of 8 is 2, and 2 times a -5 is going to give us a -10. So I know that this one is going to give us a +10. If I stick a 27 in there, the third root of 27 is going to give me 3. 3 times a -15, or 3 times a -5 gives me a -15, so then I know this is going to be a +15. So now let's graph our little S-shaped thing. We know we have a 0, 0. We have 1 at 5, -5. So we know that 1 we're going to have a -5. +5. If I get out here, we call that 8. 8 is going to be at a -10. And then way out here, I have 27. It's down here at a -15. So I've got 1, 10, 15. So we have 1, 5, we have 8, 10, and then over here, way over here at 27, we have 15. So now we have our kind of S-shaped thing, so we're going to kind of come up here, curve a little bit, and then it's going to keep going out there forever. Keep going out there forever. And that's the answer for number 12. Let's look at number 15. So here we have the third root of x and 7 and 9. Again with this, because it's an odd index, we can have all real numbers, because it's okay if we have the square root of a negative number. If I look at my range, I'm also going to get all real numbers. So if we look at our center point, I'm going to do the same x and y values I picked before, just so I don't have to use my calculator. I'm going to pick 1, 8, and 27, and -1, -8, and a -27. And here I'm still going to get some weird fractions because it's 7 over 9. So if I plug 0 in, I know I'm going to get 0. If I plug 1 in, I'm going to get 7 over 9. Here I'm going to get a -7 over 9. If I plug an 8 in, that's going to give me 2. And 2 times 17 over 9 is going to give me 14 over 9. So this will be a -14 over 9. And if I put a 27 in, that's going to give me a 3. 7 over 9 times 3. Here my things are going to cancel out, so I'm going to get 7 over 3 for that one. That'll be a negative 7 over 3, and this would be a positive 7 over 3. So now let's graph those. So let's see. We have 0, 0. At a 1, we have a positive 7 over 9, so that's just almost 1. At a negative 1, we have just almost a negative 1. If we look at, that's 1, so over here we're going to have 8. There's a negative 8. We're going to take the 8, and that's 14 over 9. So 9 goes into 14 one time plus 5 ninths. So it's almost 2. So we're going to put it up there. If we have a negative 8, it's going to be down here. If we go over to a negative 20 or positive 27, and then over here at a negative 27, that's going to give me 3 goes into 7 how many times? 2 2/3. So we're going to be just a little bit bigger, not quite 3. So we're going to have something that's up there. And over here, we're going to go down to a negative 3. So it's going to be there. So let's draw our little thing that kind of goes up and then goes over, and it's going to go on forever in both directions. Have a great day. Bye-bye.